See this? This 1d6 roll does more for immersion than any skill system ever invented. And I'm talking about morale checks, right? That forgotten mechanic from BXD&D that told you when monsters, hirelings, NPCs decided they had enough of your nonsense. What do I mean by that? Well, you see, modern editions of D&D pretty much assume everyone fights to the death, right? That's been my experience. Maybe my experience is wrong. I don't know. I don't think so. The DM has to make the narrative choice of whether or not your adversaries flee. So that would mean goblins, bandits, even the family dog, guard in the barn, they stay to the bitter end. But in BX, combat was unpredictable, dangerous, and more importantly, dare I say it, believable. And all that hinged on a simple roll of 2 dice. There we go. Just like those. So, in Motivate Basic, every creature has a morale score, usually between 7 and 12. Like zombies are at 12. They're probably not going to flee unless they feel safe, or unless they get turned, I should say. But you roll those 2d6 when the tide of battle shifts. Say half the monsters are dead or incapacitated. The leader falls. Things look hopeless. Roll for their morale. All right. Goblins are likely a 7, orcs an 8, berserkers, zombies, other undead, probably a 12. Roll over their morale. They run, they surrender, they retreat, they throw down their weapons. Roll under. They keep fighting, and it's simple, right? It is as simple as you're going to get when it comes to mechanics, especially for D&D. But that little roll changes everything about how your world feels, because suddenly monsters behave like living beings, not cardboard targets waiting to ping out some experience points to your PCs, right? Goblins might flee after the first fireball. Bandits might throw down their weapons after their leader drops. Even a party's own torchbearers might panic and bolt. It's reality. It makes every fight dynamic because you don't know how it's going to end. Right? That's important. And here's why morale is one of the most elegant mechanics ever designed in an RPG. First, it puts fear and self-preservation back into the game. Not every creature is suicidal. They're not going to all fight to the death, fight to the last man. And that realism forces the players to think. Do we scare them off? Or fight to the bitter end, right? And secondly, it speeds up gameplay. Flat out. Fights end when they should. Half the goblins are dead, and the rest just want to live for another day. You know the dice, and they all right. They failed them morale. You don't have to grind out another 5, 6 rounds of initiative and attacks, and it's already a done deal anyway. Right? And third, it tells a story. It drives the narrative. That cowardly goblin that ran off, he might return later with friends. Right? Or maybe he's going to spread the word of those murderous surface dwellers. And suddenly your world reacts to what the players do, what the players accomplish. In a way, everybody that flees is like a bard there to tell your party's tales of success and horrors. Morale rolls are a procedural storytelling tool. So we all know Keep of the Borderlands, right? It's a perfect case study of the morale rules. The Caves of Chaos are filled with tribes. Goblins, orcs, kobolds, all with different morale scores. Fight one tribe too often and they might scatter after a single loss. But take out the orc chieftain and the guards might fight to the death out of loyalty. That shifting of the balance of bravery and fear is why those old modules felt alive. You didn't have a brief predestination of what was going to happen. It wasn't predetermined. You weren't just clearing rooms. You were stepping and shaping into the political ecosystem of a dungeon. And here's the thing. A lot of tables back in the day ignored morale. All right. The DM just eyeballed it or assumed that every enemy fought to the death. I certainly did that on occasions. But that turns every encounter into a slog. Without morale, you lose the tension. You lose realism. You lose that moment where players go, wait, they're running. Did we just win? Or conversely, oh crap, our henchman just fled. Maybe we should too. It's like removing morale from a war movie, right? Every soldier fights until the last frame. It's boring. It's unrealistic. It doesn't make sense. So bring morale back and your fights will breathe again. So the rule is right in here. Okay? And those 2 dice that I showed you, that's what you need for morale. It's as simple as that. If you're running O.S.R, Swords and Wizardry, 5e with an O.S.R mindset, Dragon Slayer, Labyrinth Lord, so many rules to choose from. Try morale. Actually, I'm pretty sure Greg already has morale in Dragon Slayer. Give every monster a number from 7 to 12. 12 being those whose morale will never break. Roll 2d6 when things go sideways. Let the dice decide who has the will to fight for another round or who is ready to flee, give up, surrender, drop their weapons. And you'll be amazed at how more alive your world feels. And that's it, right? The humble morale roll. 2 dice, infinite storytelling. Use it and watch your players start thinking like tacticians instead of just butchers. And if you like this little bit of digging into BX and what makes it tick, Friday, there'll be a members only episode that dives deeper into BX. Members only Friday will drop for everybody Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. So until then, more videos. But if you want to come back to BX, definitely on Friday. And until next time, keep your tankards full, your dice honest, and your goblins running for their lives. God bless, folks. I'll catch you later.